Alright, so here's some word of advice to current college students, recent graduates, and prospective job seekers. So this is just my advice and sort of warning to all these groups of people because I've been through unemployment, I've been through a layoff, I've been through that fear of having job instability and really pretty much just looking for a job after you graduate or, after you've been laid off. How can you move on? How can you find a next job? But of course my situation was during a different time. Right now, with over 30 million people being laid off, your group of people, your current and recent graduates, you guys are in for a much worse time than all these other people because some people who have had strong foundations and have had work experience before and they got laid off because of their business, at least they have experience with them. But because you're just coming out of school, because you just graduated, maybe you have limited experience, it's going to be a much harder time for you to find a job because of what's happening right now in the world. So I'm just going to give my advice and my opinion and my perspective on what's happening in the world right now. So here are the facts. I know you guys are probably at home watching this. So right now, this is currently directed towards college students. You guys probably got kicked out of school and are just at home and doing online classes. So as of right now, the schools are closed, universities are closed. College in general is pretty much on the brink of having some trouble financially because, they need students to come in and pay them. But because you guys are at home, you guys aren't at school, how are they going to get the money? I know some states are trying to reopen their universities and they're trying to push towards opening by the fall, but that's a very ambitious goal of them to have, and we don't know if we can do that safely with how much students that are normally coming in towards college. So my university had 20,000 students. I don't know if you can have all 20,000 students all at once because of what's happening, because of the sickness. So again, it's a very ambitious goal for a university to have, and I don't know if that's even possible. And so the issue is that because you guys are paying for college, but you guys are not having that college experience because you're at home basically and just taking the classes, now you're sort of wondering, is it worth all that effort and all that money to even go to college when I'm at home just taking classes? What's the difference between going to Harvard, paying $40,000 and taking a Harvard online class than just taking a normal, regular online class from some community college? And so I'm pointing this out because you sort of might want to reconsider, especially if you just started coming into college, maybe your first year or second year, and you're paying thousands of dollars just to go to a private university that is making you pay so much, but then you're just taking online classes. If you're not happy with what you're paying for, then you might want to reconsider continuing with this school. Overall, the goal is for you to just graduate. If they're just going to make you take online classes for the whole year, you might as well just stop with what you're doing and take a normal online class elsewhere, pay cheaper for that. I mean, you're still going to be staying at home, you're still going to be taking classes, so you're still going to fulfill your prerequisites in order to graduate. And the same goes for even young high schoolers who are probably going to want to go to college. I see a lot of news media on this because they don't want to pay $40,000 or this crazy amount of college tuition just to take online classes when you're not even getting a full experience of college, right? People want to actually be meeting with friends, talking to professors, going to lab, doing their actual schoolwork, maybe to get stressed and maybe party and do whatever they want, but they're not getting that type of experience with the same amount of pay that they are still charging. So all I'm trying to say is reconsider your options and see what works out best for you. I hope with what I said sort of made sense, and I hope if anything it points out and sort of opened your eyes to what is happening in the world right now and what you're paying for. So do think about what I just said. Now for the college seniors and college graduates, those recent graduates, or maybe those people who just had interns but then they got laid off, or maybe their intern got canceled because of this whole pandemic, I am so sorry you had to go through this. I know it's scary to not have a job. So, once I graduated, I wanted to get a job right away just so I can pay the bills, pay the student loans off, make my Asian parents happy, fulfill their dreams and just get a job and then just be a normal working person in society. But because of what's happening right now, especially as a young college graduate or just someone who has limited experience competing with all the other people who have experience but just got laid off because of what's happening, you pretty much have no chance out there in the job market. So I'm saying your experience right now, your situation, it sucks. I've never had to go through this, and I'm sorry you have to go through this. I'm pretty sure this is worse than the 2008 financial crisis. So if you're a recent graduate, you guys are coming out of college with a crazy amount of student loans, and you have limited experience, and pretty much no one's hiring because you can't really go out and do anything as of right now. So I don't even know how economically and financially you or the whole economy is going to recover from this because it's not going to just bounce back up in like 1 or 2 years. And even with that, you finding a stable job that you enjoy relative to your field that you graduated with, that's going to be really hard. That's going to be really hard to find because other people out there, again, people who are more experienced and have had maybe like even a master's degree or a PhD in whatever field that they had, and you're just coming out with a bachelor's degree and like 1 or 2, maybe 0 experience at all in your field, you can't win at all. You're up against these very competitive people and you pretty much have no demand for your position. So I know it feels like I'm just pointing out all your flaws, but I do want to give you some light at the end of the tunnel. So I know the government's doing whatever it can just to pump up the economy. I hope that eventually as we find like a vaccine and cure for this and then things go back to normal, the big competitive people with experience, they get their jobs back. Eventually you'll be able to get back into the field, but that will take some time, right? So what I want you to do is, instead of focusing on towards finding that perfect job or that one stable job that you thought you'd get right away, I want you to find different skills that you can do. So pretty much a side hustle. I want you to find some skill or some other thing that you enjoy that can make money. So fortunate for me, I did not get laid off from my current position, but because I'm stuck at home and although I do some work, it does get boring, that's where I learn a new skill. So I learned to, say, garden, or I learned how to cook, I learned how to do day trading, I learned how to do this and that was something that I enjoyed. So even after work, or maybe even, yes, I have my work computer there, I might be doing day trading right next to it. It's like a little side gig that you can do. It doesn't even take that much time just to set that up, so it's no harm done at all. It's just a small little thing that, yes, I can still do productive work, but also I can gain a new skill and still sort of make money off of doing this. So maybe you got laid off recently and are just collecting unemployment. Let's say you don't have kids and you have some free time. Instead of just watching like Netflix or spending your time elsewhere, I want you to learn a new skill. I want you to get some sort of side hustle. Maybe learn how to code or learn how to day trade, learn how to garden, and then maybe just enjoy life some more. Overall, do what makes you happy, but keep yourself busy and working towards some goal and improving yourself every single step, every single day. I know being laid off sucks because you just feel miserable. You feel like a loser pretty much for not having or not keeping that stable job. But this time is sort of different because everyone out there is laid off. You and your coworker might be in the same position. Just support each other and work together to work throughout this whole endeavor. Maybe you two can be like side business partners, just think of some idea and then just work together on it. Overall, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I'm just trying to say that things will get better. I just don't know when. Hope it doesn't take like 2 or 3 years for this to eventually pass, but this too shall pass. Instead of moping around and just being miserable in life, thinking that you're a loser, find something you enjoy that you can improve on, and don't waste your time in this pandemic because I feel like this is an actual opportunity. Some things are like a blessing in disguise. So this is what happened even with my first layoff. I was miserable at that job, but because of what happened, because I got laid off, it was a blessing. So let this be a blessing instead of a curse. Don't be miserable. See it in a different perspective. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I'm sorry you guys are going through this. This is probably the worst time ever of all things because you got gigantic student loans, but then you also got this pandemic where everyone's laid off, so I don't know how anyone's going to find a job with this. Hopefully the government sort of takes care of the student loans at this point because right now they're just pumping money like crazy to stimulate everything, so you might as well just get rid of that student loans, and then maybe that itself can be enough of a stimulus package for many students out there or whoever has student loans. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one.